anytime anyone has ever told me I can't do something specifically, I think that's where you find out if you have that switch or not.
Welcome to the Created to Be podcast. We're back for another week, and we're excited that we have another guest at the table this week. So I'm your host, Bethany. We have some co-hosts here at the table again, thankfully. Justin is back again.
Yo.
As always. And Darius.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Darius Doc Brown. And our guest today, Coach Chase Brooks.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. We're excited to have you because we've been talking about these topics about the off season, and as a strength coach, you get to encounter athletes in that season and be part of a major part of preparing them and also pacing them for when the team will peak, when they as an individual athlete will peak. So we're excited to get to talk to you and your story too more today, and we will do that as we go through this podcast. But last podcast, if you missed it, we had Brad Smith. And
great one.
Yeah. If you want a good laugh, go back and listen to that and some good stories. We appreciate Brad and all that he does with FCA to volunteer. He really does help a lot. I think one of the things that you said in the podcast, Darius, was like always available.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sometimes you might not like to be that person in people's mind, like when people are sitting around a table, like, who do we get to do such and such? And you're the first name that pops up. You might get asked to do a lot of things.
Yes.
But he really is that person. And Brad, if you're listening, you can always tell us no.
Yeah.
But we're super thankful for him and his stories and his input. Chase, we just wanted to know, what have you been doing this summer?
Honestly, just a couple resetting things. I kind of use the summer as a time to just get away for a little bit. Sports can be hectic, and when you're inside of it, it can be pretty hectic. So when you have the opportunity to get away for a little bit and just reset and get away, I do. So a couple hiking trips here and there. Went to see some water down on the coast.
Nice.
Love the water. I know that's a random fact, but used to I love being around the water and the lake. So make stupid jokes all the time. Like you see a fountain, I'm just like, look at that water. It's so great. It's just something peaceful and relaxing just to get away. So just kind of some resetting things. And then just preparation, waiting for volleyball, start back up. We started back up a couple weeks ago, and then just waiting for tennis to get back later.
Yeah. So just for the listeners to know, you are the strength coach at Mississippi State for volleyball.
And tennis. Correct. Yes.
Men's and women's.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're going to get into this later, but I got to ask now, is there a big difference in how you equip the tennis player and the volleyball? Like, is the strength and conditioning so different for both of them?
Depends more on time of season to me.
Okay.
At the base of it, almost any sport, you just treat them as an athlete. In my personal opinion, an athlete's an athlete, so I'm going to train you like an athlete. We all need to be strong, so we're not injury prone. We all need to be powerful in specific times in season. We'll do different movements here and there. So like your volleyballs and your tennis, obviously you got to do a lot of shoulder care, stuff like that. Something like a soccer team probably isn't emphasizing on doing as much.
Gotcha.
But a lot of the baseline work's pretty similar.
I gotcha.
I know, again, we'll get into more of these questions, but as they pop in your head, feel
good.
free.
It's good.
Because I was just thinking with that question, and you said shoulder care. Is it typical when people hire for athletic trainers that they try to group sports that would be somewhat similar, or is that not even a thing?
I don't know that answer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of fallen into me that I have three sports, that the three sports I work with are. But previously I was with track and field in both tennises before I took over volleyball. Okay. So I think it's more of just
because I know it's so interesting to me how some teams, it's just one athletic trainer for that one team. And then there's others that, so like I'm sure that the seasons that they're in go into that, or the demand for time. I don't know. But very interesting how people get different responsibilities in that strength coach role. Anyway, okay. What about, you said you went hiking. So where'd you go to do that?
Yeah, so I went to, the first one was in Alabama. I went to, it's the tallest mountain in Alabama. I forget the name of the park.
Darius. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, I don't know that
I
answer.
forget the name of the park.
Like, is it in Birmingham?
No, it's about like 4.5 hours from Starkville. But I was down on the coast at the beach, and then I just took a detour, went to Alabama on the way back. Beautiful up there. Just to get away and just be in the woods.
We was talking about adventure.
Yeah.
So you said on the way back, I just stopped through Alabama. Like, was this not planned, or was this something
I like
like
the tie-in.
Yeah,
Thank you,
because we
Darius.
talk
That was
about
our
adventure.
last-
No,
yeah.
because I'm thinking about this, like, because the way you said is like, well, I'm just gonna take this detour and go to Alabama.
For sure not planned. I typed in ChatGPT best hikes on the way back to Starkville, Mississippi from the coast, and one of it popped up, and I just said I'm going. Yeah, it was a good decision. Just have extra time right now and don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
What does that look like? We were talking about for different coaches, even for FCA staff. Like, we do have times during the year where it's kind of like, okay, foot can be off the gas a little bit. So what does that look like for you normally for the summer?
once tennis finishes up their seasons, men's and women's tennis, they usually go home. We have a lot of kids from outside the U.S. And then volleyball by that time is done with our off-season training. So once tennis is done, it's kind of open.
Yeah, nice.
Most of end of May and then all of June. And then we start seeing some people come back in July.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's kind of our rhythm a little bit too. Yeah. It's weird too because I'm thankful for it, but it's also such a dramatic shift in pace that it really throws me for a loop. Like, Darius, I know you don't get as much of that pause because you have the other jobs that you have and the youth trips. Like, when you told me what y'all were doing in June, I was like, oh my gosh, we're just sitting here at the beach, not at the beach, but on the coast. And I'm like struggling to put activities together.
Last week, we just ended a 3-week insane run. And you know it's rough when other people are texting you like, are you okay? Are you resting?
Okay? Yeah.
Like, are you, because they, the social life, social media, so people can kind of see some of the things. I'm going to say this probably was my roughest 3 weeks in a row. And then I have to go to Florida next week for another week. So I had at least a break where you can kind of breathe, but I just thinking about what you do and even what you're saying from coaches, athletes, I don't think people realize the dedication you have to have because it's such a commitment, not just in season, but like you said, the off season, and so much so like you said, you're going to take advantage of that time. I know that's a great thing to be able to, I don't have to think about nothing, no athlete, no school. I can do me for this, for this period of time. I know that's a gratifying thing.
Oh, for sure. I feel like if you work in athletics, you have to love it. Mm-hmm. If you don't love it, you're going to dread your days every single day because there's going to be long and hard days. But when you wake up in the morning, if you don't love it again, you're not going to want to go to work and it's going to be another long day. Blessed to do what I love.
So with you saying that, were you an athlete? And then what made you choose this route? Or is that where we're going to go later?
We can go now.
No.
Because I really have, way back when I knew I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. I was thinking, the most experience I had was in sports. And so I did think, what if I I was thinking about, out of all the jobs in athletics with a team, this is not the easiest job, but what is you're part of it, but you don't have to do everything that the head coach or the assistant would have to do. Like you mentioned recruiting when we were just talking before the podcast. So I thought, maybe strength coach, but it doesn't, I want to make sure I'm not coming across I think that's the easiest because it's not. I'm just saying
I got what you're saying.
Because even the athletic trainer, there's certain things they have to do before, during, after. So kind of where you do get your own space with the athletes and you're obviously a big part of the team, but it's in a different way. So I briefly considered that. Clearly I didn't do that, but I just thought, that sounds like a cool job. Like
strength and conditioning?
Yes.
Okay, so before we say that, I was just being with the basketball team. One of the most important people to me was the athletic trainer. Because it's they have so much, I don't want to say pressure, but if when Josh Hubbard goes down, it's everybody in the...
Looking at the
and I don't want you to just come see. We need you to come through. I need you to Is he okay? Is there anything that and so you see the pressure that may not be always spoken to, but you can kind of see it and feel it in those moments.
It's kind of like a kicker on a football team,
right? It's it's like
we don't really recognize you most of the time
until it's time for this last second kick. So I mean, just to see like what you're doing, even as it relates to what she said. That's what I was kind of alluding to. Like, what was that decision-making process to make you say, okay, this is it for me?
It's honestly a long story because I had no idea what I wanted to do out of high school. I was seeking all the different opportunities just to see what I wanted to fall in love with. Came to college. I switched majors 7 times in my undergrad.
Okay, you got to tell us some of them. What were they?
The number of completion. I do want us to get the number of completion.
I started with engineering. I went business, accounting, switched to criminology, went kinesiology, performance fitness. I was before performance fitness, I was in physical education and coaching, and then ended up with performance fitness. But that was over a 2 span of my freshman and sophomore year of just trying to figure out what I wanted.
You can relate to a lot of different people.
I can relate to a lot of different things.
A lot about a lot of things.
Well, any athlete talking about a class, I'm like, well, I probably took it. But
wow.
So that journey was crazy of finding that. But honestly, the thing that made me fall in love with strength and conditioning was kind of something I never really realized until later. But when I used to play football in high school, never went college, unfortunately. Blessed 3 inches shorter than I should have been, but that's okay.
Right. Think about me. If you're 3 inches shorter, think about me.
If we all just had a little more height, that's all we were missing, Darius.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that I mean, if I was just a little bit taller, I would have been.
I would have been.
What you think about when tall people say that? And then you got me sitting here like they asking for 3 more inches. Yeah. That means I'm probably needing about 8 more.
But yeah, in high school, I only played football in my 9th through 12th grade. I solely focused football, and I loved the sport, but I didn't really even realize when I was playing football that I loved the weight room and training and getting better. And I had an injury in my knee my junior year, and so I was just doing the bro split upper body every single day until my knee was better, and just fell in love with the weight room during that time. And then got to college when I was doing all the majors. I was in physical education and coaching, and I sent out emails because I still didn't know what to do to all the head coaches on campus. Every single one, the football, basketball, baseballs, everyone got an email from Chase Brooks. Awesome. And just so happened, Vic Schaefer on the women's basketball team forwarded that email to my now boss, and she thought it was a recommendation.
Let's go.
Come on now.
And brought me in for an interview.
That's amazing.
So there was a little miscommunication there, but
worked
in
well.
Your favor.
Worked well for me. Got to start interning at women's basketball and men's basketball my junior and senior year, and then just fell in love with strength and conditioning.
What were those years for Vic? Was that part of their run?
It was his last year. Okay. It was 20. What was that? 18, 19?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the two. And then I was here for after that. And then when I graduated, just got the opportunity to come over here and be on the Olympic side.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. You've probably said that before, but off the pod, I have questions about that experience. I'm really curious.
The Olympic experience?
No, with Coach Schaefer.
Oh, yeah.
And women's basketball. Okay. So, strength and conditioning is an interesting area that I feel like or assume you get some autonomy, but then also you're connected to a team. So it's just like a unique space, I think.
For sure.
Very cool place in athletics, but very demanding. So I want to make sure to emphasize that. We also, in talking about preparation, I think that's what is cool about what we get to do for FCA too, that probably is why I have a little bit of intrigue for positions that you fill, because you're in this spot of preparing and shaping people for a specific thing. And so that's what's been really rewarding. We've talked about on this podcast before, just with FCA and how that dynamic is changing. And we're trying to figure out how do we do that now when an athlete's only here for 1 semester sometimes. But the reward, it's been so rewarding in our FCA experience to walk alongside athletes anywhere from 2 to 4 years and see their growth and development of just them as a person and a leader. And so I think in my brain, I feel like that space is kind of what you get to do too.
Absolutely. I always think strength and conditioning is honestly a people person job. Mm-hmm. I am talking and developing and getting to know people while I'm teaching you how to lift and train and get better with those things.
Good. That's good.
I think that's honestly one of the biggest parts of my job. I'm coaching, yes. In season, we have 2 lifts. for 45 minutes with volleyball, but I'm probably seeing them the most out of anyone, just walking by and hanging out in my office or coming to do extra or doing rehab sessions. Like it's a lot of just communication, and you have to build that trust with the athletes. And like you said, some come in and they're only here for a semester and then get out, but you have to invest in every single one the exact same way. Otherwise you're not going to have that buy-in. So that's kind of the way I treat strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool. Well, I'm sure we'll have more questions as we go through the podcast. But we will first talk about the stretch, and I'm sure Darius is thrilled. It's going to be another World Cup stretch today. Have you watched any games?
I haven't had time. We just got to talking about I've been.
Darius is over there going, man, let's go back to Arbor Day.
No, not yet. I enjoy. Now I'm gonna say this. I enjoy the sports side of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sports person, but I am being awakened to sports I haven't been looking into, like the World Cup. I did not know. I mean, I knew it was a big deal, but I've been brought into an awareness of how big of a deal it is. Like it's people who don't even watch sports regularly, but they watch the World Cup.
Yeah, it's actually the World Cup, not like the World Series.
Right.
When it's just us. Yeah, this was actually the World Cup. So.
Yeah, and so I'm seeing a lot of people like that are really like into it.
Okay, so I mean, I'm being a bit dramatic by using this word, but it does seem like for maybe I would include myself in that, like a little bit on the fringes of like, what's the big deal? I do feel like when people go to a game, it's like, this is where I feel like it's such a cheesy maybe thing, but it's like some kind of awakening. Like it's like you get it when you're there, but you don't get it
if you're not.
Yeah. And so I mean, because even last night at a basketball event, women's event, Coach Castro went to a few games, and his daughter didn't quite understand like why he got so into watching Columbia play, but he got to take her to a game. And afterwards she was like, I got it. Like this is the most.
I mean, I think we felt that way about volleyball.
Yeah.
So we got tickets to the Final Four for volleyball in Tampa when we lived in Tampa early on. And we were sitting middle of the court, 10 rows up,
it was
watching
Penn State and Texas, I think.
Penn State and Texas, and watched this girl by the name of Destiny Hooker, who is one of the best volleyball players ever, could jump out of the gym, and watch her hit like 40 or 50 winners or something in a match. It was crazy. And then Penn State came back from 2-0 down to beat them for the title. It was unreal. And after we left those 3 games we watched, we were just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am a volleyball fan now.
It's a great sport.
Oh, my.
You're like, whoa.
What have I been missing? But I remember even when we were at Mississippi College, and I watched soccer. You watch it from the outside. I remember being on the sidelines on a road game with soccer. I traveled with men's soccer, did a devotional. It was at UT Tyler, which was like a really big match for them. And being on the sidelines and watching that changed my view of soccer for a bit. I was just like, oh, whoa. Because I hear them talking and seeing what's happening in the moments that shift things. And when they get excited about it, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I saw that. You start seeing things from a different perspective, being on the side. And that was nuts. So that was a cool experience too. So yeah, if you don't understand a sport or not really a huge fan, try to go. It'll change you.
So I know that when the Olympics happen in the United States in a couple of years, that I was like, man, I want to find a way to get there. And I said something to my dad about like, don't you want to like go to a game? It's going to be here. Like, don't you want to go? And he was like, we can just watch it on TV. I was so devastated. I was like, but don't you want to watch greatness like in person? Yeah. And I don't know where that shift took place for me. I don't know if you have a certain age where you just think you can do it and it's not that big of a deal. And then you realize like how hard these things are that they're doing. You grow an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's part of it for me now. I don't know when I felt that way, like when that changed, but I do feel like there is the reason I am so amazed by it is because it's like incredible. You're like, that is greatness. Like at the end of the Argentina game against England, they had like, 9 minutes left or something. It was extra time when they were tied. And I'm sitting there, I know nothing, but I'm like, Messi is going to do something. Like you just have this, because he's amazing. You just have this expectation and then you watch it happen and then it just blows your mind all over again. You're like, no way.
Then you're like emotional. You're like, why am I
I
crying?
know. I told Justin that. I was like crying when they were like panning the crowd, and I was like, why am I
Really?
crying right now?
So I mean, that's why I think what gets me too is, especially when you're talking about the Olympics, it's what, every 4 years? So I'm thinking about all this training, all of this effort, all of this, just intentionality. And to get to a point or a pinnacle, and especially when somebody doesn't do well, but it's something like they may have experienced an injury or something like that. It's like, it'd be devastating for me because I'm like 4 years, every day, dedication, and then something that you can't control.
Yeah.
Especially for the smaller sports that don't have the big pro leagues that are
Right.
on TV all the time.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like man,
Yeah.
to see them have to go through it's very, but now you talked about the Argentina game. My Apple Watch and phone kept going off because it was like, first it's a tie game.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's only so many minutes left, and then it's like breaking news.
Breaking news.
Like it just was back, Argentina wins, and I think they have been like the favorite, right? Like were they like
Yeah.
the favorite? Like most people expected them to kind of
Yeah, they're number 1 or 2, right? Because I think Spain is also up there.
Yeah.
And of course, they're playing in the title game. But
So I think that's where the notification started, where they
Yeah.
were down.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like they're down. This might be,
That's
and
funny.
then all of a sudden,
Were those notifications that you signed up for, like ESPN or something like that?
ESPN,
Okay.
I'm on Bleacher,
Okay.
CBS. But see, this is the thing with them. You start being notified about the World Cup from everything.
Well, yeah, that's why I was
Like
wondering.
it could be like a WTVA. Argentina. You like, this is a local a local news station, but I guess it speaks to how
funny.
big of a deal
Yeah.
that it is. So
there's rain in your area for 20 minutes. 20 minutes now.
oh yeah, by the way,
Messi's the greatest. Oh, thanks.
I think it's also just the sport of like soccer. Like,
Yeah.
I might be wrong in this coming from Columbus, Mississippi in the United States, but soccer wasn't a huge thing for me specifically.
Nah, yeah, you're right.
So I really never watched soccer, but I remember 2024 with men's tennis. We were at Ohio State in the Sweet 16, and we went to their professional soccer men's team, the Crew. And if you've never been to a soccer game and you don't think you're gonna like soccer, I'm telling you, go to a soccer game with all international people, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a great experience, and that was my first time ever watching any type of soccer outside of high school.
Wow.
And so like it was a great experience, and from there on, like I've paid attention to soccer just because it was such a great experience. So I do agree with what you said a while ago of like in person
Yeah.
is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So-
I'm still not there yet. Eli will wake up and be like, "Dude, can we watch like Premier League?" And I'm like, I mean, maybe. I'm just like, I mean, I guess you can turn it on.
I'm not there, but what got me into at least being open to it, I don't know if y'all remember that kid Freddie Adu.
Yeah.
It was like years ago.
He was like 14 and like, Freddie's the man.
Yeah, and so I think I was more intrigued that he was so young.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how is he
We're
this
all
young?
rooting for Freddie.
And then of course Ronaldo, Messi, and then it became a rivalry. Like I was trying to figure out who do I need to be? Do I need to be Ronaldo? Was it Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Or Messi?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm trying to figure out which one. Ronaldo, I think he had the looks, but Messi just seemed a little different. You know, but hey, I'm like, soccer is a big, like you said, world sport. It's so big that even if you live in neighborhoods during the World Cup, you start seeing flags or start seeing people celebrate little things that it's like, I didn't even know you was in the neighborhood, but then the World Cup
Yeah.
comes, then you start seeing different
That's funny.
things. So it's like I do believe it's more of it's more popular internationally than it is here. Cause I'm like you, I grew up Tupelo, Mississippi, so it's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
Well, the fact that we call football our own thing,
Yes.
and the world calls football
Soccer.
yeah. Like, and we call it soccer. Like, that ought to tell you,
Yeah.
it's just not
yeah.
what it needs to be priority wise.
Well, maybe it'll be the next episode. We need to do a stretch time on what are the sports that are better, like that are hard to watch on TV that are actually better in person. I made a note
Okay.
of that. So we'll have to
Okay.
think through that. But there have been several dramatic finishes I know that I've caught and we've caught as a family that have happened in stoppage time. And I wanted to see, Darius, you know what stoppage time is?
No.
Can you take a guess just for fun?
Is that, well, I would say a free kick. They stop the game and let somebody kick, but I don't know. No, I wouldn't know what stoppage time is.
That's not bad. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
that's a good guess.
And stoppages throughout the game, whether it be fouls, conversations, injuries, setting up for different free kicks, things like that. All that adds up, and the ref keeps track with that time.
Okay.
And so by the end of the half, say at 45 minutes for each half, they'll be right when 45 minutes ticks. They're going to show how much stoppage time is added. So it could be anywhere from 3 minutes to however many.
Gotcha. So it's almost like they're adding the
half.
time that they have
The time
stopped.
that has lost, yeah.
They're being lost.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and so now they have these hydration breaks, which is like a new addition. And that's a 3-minute hydration break. So every time you're at least going to have 3 minutes of stoppage time added to each half.
It's just weird because, like in basketball, obviously, if the ball goes out of bounds or there's a sub, the clock stops.
There's a lot of
but in
stoppage
soccer,
time.
it doesn't.
Right, gotcha.
So
Yeah, which is unique in soccer because football in this way, you don't have timeouts. So this hydration break has kind of added a timeout. So you're seeing strategies change pretty quickly. Sometimes people will shift
So they don't have
their strategy.
timeouts.
There's no timeouts. You play and the momentum shifts. You better find a way to get it back.
So how do they sub?
They do sub different people.
but if you sub, you can't come back in, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they can only make 5 substitutions as well.
man.
And so you have to be strategic in your subs. And when you do that, you don't want to do it too early. And so
But
if you
you
want to
could-
change your style
Yeah.
and pull an offensive guy and put a defensive guy in, which is what England did the other day against Argentina, it didn't work. So you can kind of change your style and things. Some coaches make quick changes. Some, it just depends on the way the game's going. So
See, soccer has just been weighing on me. It's weighing on me because last week we got the fouls, and now you got to sit out for a game or two.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And now this week,
That's
if
why
I-
I'm
if
bringing
you-
up these topics,
that's
'cause
what
it
I'm like.
bothers me,
Yeah,
too.
it bothers me because you sub me out. I can't get back into the game. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I see why it's not as popular.
and then ties. You were working the draws, the ties.
So
That can
a
happen.
game can't end in a tie, right?
Not now because it's the knockout stages. You have to have a winner.
So that means they keep doing the kick.
yeah.
So is that where now this may be one? Is that where they stand in the corner, kick it to the middle, and then they have to kick it or throw it
No.
from the middle? I mean,
No,
throw
no,
it from
no.
the corner. You
You're
know what I'm
about
talking
penalty
about?
kicks. I'm talking about penalty
See,
kicks.
I know a little
What
something.
he just described was a
Well,
corner kick.
Yeah.
But you're
where you
also,
throw it. Is it you kick it from the corner or throw it from the corner?
Kick it.
kick it.
Kick it from the corner to the people in front of the goal,
Yeah.
and they have
That can
to.
happen at any time.
Yeah.
Like if the defense kicks it out of the goal line.
But that lets y'all know I know a little. I've been watching.
You've been watching.
See-
Yeah, they do kick
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
corner sometimes.
I got you. Okay, I got you.
And they normally try to put it in the middle and someone headed in. Or,
But it's amazing that Justin knows about literally every sport.
I know.
I mean, he is knowledgeable about every sport.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. yeah. Shade.
Okay, yeah. There's that tree again.
Hey, now that wasn't me. She did it. That wasn't
She
me.
did it.
We are going to talk about some last minute goals scored, but I wanted to bring up the stoppage time because that has been the most intriguing to me is, you have this like regulation is over and now you have this crunch time and it's a surprise. Like you really don't know. And who is this person anyways? Who's keeping up with this? It's normally a person on the sideline.
Those
but I'm
extra
like,
refs, I think.
Yeah. And then what has confused me sometimes is like the stoppage time, it's clearly beyond the time. Like say they say +9. It's
Yeah.
clearly beyond that. But then it kind of becomes like who has the last possession.
But there's also times in stoppage time where there is stoppage time that is happening. So like you have 9 minutes of stoppage time, but there's an injury or there's some major moment that
So then
takes
they add
3
more.
minutes to figure out. And then so it goes to like 12 minutes of stoppage
So then
time.
it kind of seems sometimes whenever I've watched, I'm kind of on edge because I'm like, is this ref pulling for a team? Like, are they giving this other? Like, are they
Because that's what I was just going to say. I would be so upset
right?
if we won with the regulation time, and then you add 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes, we lose the game.
Yeah. Well, that's happened.
Like
It happened.
I would be like, Yeah, I think that would really just take me over.
This might be a weird analogy, but this just popped in my head. It's kind of like you don't like the system, but you got to play in the system. So at some point, you got to accept it.
Yeah.
And it made me think of NIL. I don't know.
Oh, my.
At some point, I'm just going to have to be okay with it. Okay, so there was a few that the internet provided for me of last-minute goals scored. So the oldest was 1970 in the semifinal, Italy versus West Germany. It was 4-3. And apparently it was called the game of the century. 5 goals, 5 were scored in extra time.
Goodness.
My.
Wow.
With Gianna, Rivera scoring the 104th minute match winner. So that would be a good example of what you just described, like right to the final. I think that I just get bothered when the stoppage time is clearly over and then you're in this ambiguous, like they're not showing you how much time is left. Like that's when I'm like, a goal could, like, it's not objective. Like it feels very subjective.
So the players don't know how much time?
I don't think it's really communicated. I think probably the coaches are kind of bickering at the ref to give them some kind of insight of like how much extra would be on the extra.
But it does seem to sometimes in those moments, and somebody maybe comment if you are, yeah.
Like
We're about to exit. We're about to exit the stretch for Darius's sake. No, but I'm just like it seems like it becomes a possession thing based on who's behind. Like if they have the ball and the next time it goes out or it stops play, then that's normally, it seems like from what I've observed, because I've been trying to figure it out when they stop it. 2018 semifinal, Croatia and England.
Remember that one?
Okay. Do you want to explain it? Because I don't know how to say that guy's name.
What, his name? It's going to be a Croatian name. Good luck.
Scored the tie-breaking goal for Croatia in the 109th minute of extra time to secure their spot in the final.
Yes.
You remember that game?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. I mean, I just remember Croatia winning.
Okay.
I remember Modric was one of their really great players. Modric was amazing.
And then this one happened the other day, the Argentina-England game. The Argentina trailed until the 85th minute. And then in the end, in the stoppage time, another guy scored. So, and that was crazy to see the fans for England. Like their faces were just, couldn't believe it. But I'm also like, this is what they've been doing the whole time. I should have looked up how many games they've won late because they have been behind in several. And
To my Argentina?
yes, and they've come back.
It's just a part of their DNA.
It's their DNA.
But then I mean, it kind of goes, we've had conversations about having a winning mindset and stuff. And you're like, there's got to be something that these guys just like have a certain standard of like belief and stamina and will to get the job done.
Yeah. There's a clip where apparently a conversation between Bellingham on England and Messi was happening, and it was a pretty heated debate. And Bellingham said something, and I'm sure Argentina was provoking in some way. They're not like they get after you, and Messi didn't like what Bellingham had to say, and he kind of made this like okay, all right, and it's almost like why did you just say that to him? It was like when people would trash talk Michael Jordan, why would you do that? And
because he would smoke you. Like, he would
and so
demolish
it was
you.
kind of like Messi was like, oh, okay,
what
you
you
want to
think?
go there.
That's all he needed.
And then
That's all the fuel he needs. And then I guess if I'm playing somebody like Argentina who specializes in coming back, that's one of those meetings you have with your team. Like, listen, we don't need to give them any extra ammunition, motivation.
Right.
Like, this is what they do.
Right.
And for them to have that moment and to still lose, that's one of them's like, you helped it out.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll transition to our topic, but I want to ask you a question, Chase, about this because I kind of miss seeing this in sports as frequently. This is why I don't know if this is why people are drawn to Messi or you mentioned Michael Jordan, but people that have that internal, like, you will not beat me. I feel like it's rare. Maybe it's not. You are working with so many more athletes, but do you see that?
I feel like, I agree. It's really rare. To me, it's a switch. It's you can see it in pressure situations a lot, and that's when you find out of when things get really hard or things get tough. What do they do to react? Do they worry? Do they scare? Like, are you seeing a lot of nerves, or are they just calm and collected? I've seen a couple athletes like that. It is a very rare character. It has to be a switch.
I feel like Lindsay Mangelston is like
I was going to say, Mangelson's a dog.
She's one of them. I said I've seen a lot. That she's easily one of them. Just it's also those people who tend to have those switches. You can tell a lot outside of the sport they play too, of just what they do in preparation, what they do when they're trying to think about the things they need to do. The preparation, like sleep, eat, hydrate, like I stress those three things so much because it's very, very, very simple, but hard for a lot of people of like, can you be so like locked in 24/7 that you're going to get 8 hours of sleep, that you're going to eat the right foods, you're going to drink a lot of water. It's simple things, but so many people just miss on those. She's definitely one who does it correctly. And you have to find those characteristics.
That's what I was going to ask next. So I don't know if there's any others, but like, what are the characteristics of a person that like has that?
Yeah, I think it's just.
You think people are born with it or can be taught? Darius, everybody take everybody has a deep breath.
Well, no, I'm gonna say this. I do believe this. There's a conviction in those people that are like that believe that everything that I'm doing is going to allow me to be the peak of who I need to be. So what I'm saying is, it's like even their off seasons are still somewhat in season. Like
purposeful.
Everything has meaning and conviction. And because I'm gonna say this. Like when I was an athlete in high school, one of the things that they would push us with is they'll say something to this nature. They didn't work harder than you. Now, when you know you put the work in, you know, like that, it's like something of that gives you some extra versus when you hearing somebody say that to another team and you know you didn't work harder than them. It's like, not only are they gaining confidence, but there's a reality in me that kind of makes me feel like, yeah, we didn't reach our peak. Like, you know, and it is nothing like, because I do believe some people are, I do believe some of it is as a level of born with it. Like it's just in them. They don't have a no quitting. Like I'll give you this example. My pastor, he was an athlete. He always talk about how he used to play sports, different stuff. Well, he's about 10 years older than us. We was playing some young people at our church basketball. And I've gotten to this point because I'm not as active. I mean, I'm active enough, but I'm not super active. So I'm like this. I have to stay within striking distance. If I can, like that's my mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't point for point. My thing is if I'm like, just say if we're going to 15 and I'm at 10, to me that's striking distance. I can give my all for them last 5 points. But if we down 8, 9, like I'm not, well, with him, he will not lose. I'm seeing this man barely hitting shots, and it got to the point where the young people seem like they're about to win, and you see this switch.
That tiger comes out of the cage.
It came out like, and I'm talking about, and I'm watching it like. It's not like he has gotten more athletic or nothing like that, but it's just a determination. Every ball that comes off the rim,
he got it.
He's getting it and scoring, and then not saying nothing. It's like a hurry up and take it out because I got to. And so he literally got us within striking distance. And once we got in striking distance, I had to finish it off. Like, 'cause at this point, I'm like, this is what I need. He's giving, but you saw that will that he talked about when he played. Like I could see it in that moment. So I feel like sometimes it's within us, but also, like you said, the people that do those things, they are really convicted by.
Conviction's a good word.
This is I got to be here. So every little thing, anything I can get an edge in, anything I can get an advantage in, I'm going to do it. So I think conviction is a real thing for those people, those athletes.
I think it's their mentality and the discipline they have. I agree that, well, in a way, that some people are born with it. I think it can be a learned thing. And I think that's just for me of like, anytime anyone has ever told me I can't do something specifically, I think that's where you find out if you have that switch or not.
Yeah.
Do you accept that, or does that make you mad and you go work and do absolutely everything you possibly can to not prove them wrong, but prove it to yourself? Like people are going to talk every single day about you, and it is like we're on this world. but you have to have the conviction, like you just said, inside yourself of like, it doesn't matter what anyone else says.
Yeah.
Like internally, that's all that matters. So if, say, for example, like volleyball, winning this match is your conviction, then you're not going to let it not happen.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's crazy. What does it do for you to see an athlete like that? I love watching that. That's why there's a ton of good players for Argentina, but I think that's part of why Messi is so like revered as the best, is because people know he will do that and he doesn't cave under that pressure. And then he comes through. Like, so it does something, someone who's not even like, I'm not from there, I don't watch soccer, but I'm intrigued to see, okay, in these last 10 minutes, is he going to do something?
Well, I think I've been able to witness that with Hub.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think that way when I watch him too.
Like, but I'm saying like to see it, I always go back to the first year I was here. It was his sophomore year. He ended up going to doing something for the NCAA. It was like they was honoring certain college athletes. And so he wasn't at practice for like 2 or 3 days, and he comes back. And and this is why when you're talking about watching just the stuff, it's like he doesn't say nothing, but you could tell. Like he came in the gym with a different vibe. And when I tell you, I saw him like reel off like 10, like they was in the, they do situational stuff. 5 minutes on the clock, they down like 12. Mm-hmm. I saw this man rip off like 10 to 13 points like it was nothing. Like, and I'm not talking about just hitting shots, even on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a determination, I'm not losing. Mm-hmm. And then to see it in real games, because he's not big. Mm-hmm. You hearing the media talk about what he can't do, and literally goes out there. It's like it's amazing to see, because I'm like, he's not as tall, not as big, but this it's like he morphs into something that is.
So what does that do for you to watch that?
For me, well, I'm gonna say this, for me as a short person, like he's repping for the short guys.
Yeah. So
that's inspirational.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say this, it also inspires me to believe in who I am. Mm-hmm. Like what I mean is sometimes we can compare ourselves. It's like, it's not so much I'm not inspired by you, but to be convinced of me. Because when you look at him, he's too small. Small guards can't do this. Mm-hmm. Small guards can't do that. And he has literally checked off. But I believe a lot of it is because he doesn't look out the window. He look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Like, I know who I am. And when you see somebody that does that, it inspires you to say, I can influence where I am. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Not idolizing, trying to be him, but I'm saying in the areas of spaces, no, I need to believe in me. Mm-hmm. Like, and when I believe in me, even the people that don't believe in me, I have the ability to shift what they believe when they see me do what I know I can do.
Yeah. I love watching people that, because it does the same thing for me, it inspires me. And I'm like, not going to be like in their space. I'm not saying I'm trying to be like them, like this great athlete.
Right.
It does reinvigorate this, like, they just stepped up to the plate in that moment. Like, what am I doing in my life? And I know that I get that way. I have a phase, like, it just happens kind of at random sometimes, that I'll just get like remotivated and be like, this is not good enough. Like, and so then I go into crazy mode.
These parenting moments.
Yes.
No.
That's been most recent.
These kids will not be this way.
I know. I'm like, gosh,
we will make a stand this summer right now.
Yeah. And we have. I was even trying to communicate with our daughter, who she went from I'm not ever going to play any sports, that's my goal, to potentially in the fall doing swim and soccer. Not by her choice, but through our encouragement. And just how some things played out.
I like how she said through our encouragement.
Yeah,
she said it's not her choice, but it was our encouragement. I like that.
She thought she retired at 12. She's like, I'm out.
Yeah, and I was like, you're not even giving your DNA a chance to work, Abby. I'm so offended.
She's so strong.
So she is very strong. But we were driving to swim practice yesterday, and she's like, I don't want to move up to the next group. I just like what I'm doing. I don't want to move up. Because we were telling her in August, you really need to move up to the next group. And she's like already thinking about what they might require of her, or like what she might not can handle. And I told her, I was like, Abby, for some people, I mean, like, it'd be great if she could go on to be great at something, get a scholarship, whatever. But I was like, that's not even the focus of why we want you to do these things. I was like, you have great leadership potential.
Yeah.
So at some point in your leadership journey, if you're running a business or if you're president of this club or whatever, you're going to have to manage a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you don't know until you put yourself in that situation if you have the capacity for that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to encourage her to think a little different about like and then I was like, and to build capacity, sometimes you need outlets like physical exercise to be able to like offload some stress so that you can have more capacity over here. So trying to make it bigger than just like, you need to get in shape, and so that's why I'm struggling though with the mentality, because I hated to get beat. Like if I wanted to know, okay, if this is happening, what can I do to get better? And so the idea of, well, I know I can control this and just do this, and that's enough for me. And I feel like I'm throwing my kid under the bus. But I mean, I feel like it can be pretty common among, like, they're just like, okay, I'll just be okay at this. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't be settled in that.
But see, there's something in there. This is a fun situation. There is a little bit that has to be pulled out of her because it's in there.
Yeah.
So she first time got on the block yesterday to practice diving in. All right. And she's like, God, they're telling me I got to get better at doing that and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you're going to practice that there because the blocks are there to dive off of. You have to dive off the place, practice off that. So you're going to practice that and get better at practice. And she's like, yeah, but I want to be better at it next time we do it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so maybe we can just do it at the pool and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm just like,
better.
they'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
But she's like talking like, well, I need to practice it. And I'm like, well, I guess we need to find a block or we'll just do something at a pool.
Off the side,
Off the side. So
yeah.
And then I think what your guys, I know you were saying is a little vulnerable to talk about but I believe that you are doing what great parents are there to do, like to posture them and position them so they can be the best versions of themselves. Because you got to think she's growing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she knows certain things about her, but there are things that you see and know that you're positioning her. Well, she'll have an appreciation, maybe not so much now, but later she'll be able to look back and say, this situation was able to reveal something that was in me. Like you said, because you talk about her leadership skill. I remember the first time I seen her, I'm like, this girl is this young and she's leading college age people and even us. No, come over here. I'm like, this young lady, like this, and it's that's where I will say that's where that piece of I believe is just in them. Like some stuff is not formed. Some stuff is just is a part of God's makeup with that particular person according to what he's going to have them to be. And both of you all are leaders in your own right. So it's quite natural,
Well, it's hard whenever you can see the potential in someone. And I feel like that's what all of us are doing in various ways. Mm-hmm. But you see that potential and you want it to have space to come out. But sometimes they don't have certain skills or things. And we're there to help provide that and equip them. But they've got to have some motivation to engage with that. Yeah. So it's just like kind of a weird
and then
thing.
it's like, well, we want to be able to provide everything we can for them to develop in those, but we got to pick our spots, So it's like, but am I doing enough as a parent to help them develop the way they can, or am I just giving them a way out to where they don't?
But then the ability to see that these skills and things transcend just like becoming good at a skill. Like it's not about, in some cases, about being great at a sport. Like that's awesome. Right. But it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that. Like what you said, what you're pushing her to do is not about now, really. No. It's about later what she can become if she have to be in this. If she has to be in it. That's why now y'all talk about sports, but that's why I encourage some of the parents at my church to put their kids in sports, even if they're not great. Because I'm like this, you're going to learn teamwork. They're going to learn how to follow. They're going to learn the importance of being there, helping the teammate, meaning if this person, you may say, well, everybody got to make it in 20 minutes. Well, if you got somebody that's not going to make it, that encouragement, come on. Like those are things that are built team play. So I feel like that's what you all are doing. And I think, that's something that anybody that's involved in sports or involved in some form of leadership, you have to be willing to kind of do some of those things.
And that's really what it should be about. It's unfortunate that even for me, I have to remind myself that is really truly what sport is for, not necessarily just development so they can go to the next level. Yeah. Like it provides so many other things, but it's so like anyways, it can get really crazy.
Yeah, I love the word you used a minute ago of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite words. I don't know if it makes sense. It makes sense to me in my head, but I was thinking about it. Nick Saban has an interview on capacity. It's one of my favorite interviews I've ever watched from any coach. But internal communication over external noise is such a huge thing.
Wow.
Like your biggest limiting factor is yourself. If you're already telling yourself you're going to lose, you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it.
Right.
At least you're not going to do it at a high level or even get close. Like that's something that I feel like for athletes, and we were talking about switches and another thing, that's a huge one of like, what is your capacity? What's the level that you tell yourself you can't do it? And I'm trying as a strength coach to push you to that and see if we can grow that capacity. I love that word. That was a great word.
I got a
word.
question when you said that. So how do you, or what are some things you do if you're seeing somebody like she saw with her daughter, and then like I know Justin said Abby is strong. You know what I mean? So how do you go about that as a strength and conditioning coach? You're seeing somebody who has a greater capacity than they're aware of. Like you're able to see, it's like, okay, now if you can do this, I know that there's room for you to be able to do this. But because of their own experience, I don't say this in a condescending way, but their ignorance, like they're just not aware. How do you go about, pulling that out or trying to get them without making them feel like you're pushing them up and not necessarily pushing them over the ledge?
I think the way I communicate with my athletes is I try my very best to always be a positive attitude, no matter what. I feel like if you're, especially in my role as a strength and conditioning coach, if some of these girls come into the weight room and don't love the weight room to begin with, and I'm over here talking awful, like, oh, my day's been awful, it's been awful, they're not going to want to lift, they're not going to want to do anything. So that's where I start usually. Just I'm there to hopefully boost the mood a little bit just with communication. And then when we're talking about trying to train capacity, I mean, it depends on every single athlete, but I feel like small things of testing and seeing how they react to that test, whether they fail or whether they don't fail.
Tests they're aware of, like metrics, or like something you might just be like, I'm going to throw this out and see how they.
So it completely depends. Like, yeah, I'll use the weight room as an example, but if we're going for like heavy doubles and triples, a lot of times I give them lifts. Like, obviously, my gosh, I give them weights specific for that specific lift. There's occasions, not in season, obviously, but in off season, where I leave the weight up to them. And I want to see what they're going to push on that weight. And it is so funny because every single one of them come up to me and say, what weight should I put on the bar? And I said, well, what weight do you think you should put on the bar? And I like to just test of what they do. And then I look at those numbers of what they did. And then I look at the numbers I know their max is, and I compare those. Did we underachieve? Did we overachieve? And then we talk about it. It's just small things like that. And I'm also watching them do the lift. So if I'm wanting a 90% rep max and it looks like a 60% rep max, I can very well visually see that, and we're gonna have a conversation about that probably. But just small like tests here and there. Whether they fail or they don't fail, not fail a lift. We're never gonna fail a lift, but whether they like fail that test or
it's
accomplish
revealing
that.
something. It's revealing
for sure.
Yeah,
It's giving them permission
For sure.
to push.
For sure.
And that's where I think that the responsibility piece, like people are very comfortable with someone else telling them what to do, but what do I think I can do? And then how do I step into that? That's where I see, like in parenting, even like it shows up. It's like I've taught you, I've equipped you with what's best to put in your body and what's best to do with your time. You'd rather me tell you, and then that way you don't have to be convicted about anything. Yeah. But the moment it's like, well, what do you think you should do with your time right now? What do you think? I know that's when my kids get a little uncomfortable because they're like, no, just tell me. I just want to know what the right thing is. So I think that's interesting that you can kind of do that in the weight room.
And he said, like Justin said, giving them permission. Because not only am I giving them permission for them to expose themselves, but then it's going to help me to see, like, what do they really want? Like, do they really want to be great? Or is this something we just trying to pass the time?
Right.
Like, I know we got to live from this time to this time. This is what they said today. So I'm just going to do what is expected, which I also believe is what starts to reveal those overachievers. Because it's like, I'm going to push myself. Like, you put it in you put the ball in my court, but I think I can do this. I may not, I'm going to really, and I'm serious about it. And I feel like that is, like you said, testing them. It's a way for you to see, okay, I see what we're dealing with. I see who is who, and it's amazing. Cause like I used to notice that even with basketball, like, I'll shout him out, King Grace. So I was able to see 2 freshman classes. And when he came in, of course, you could see that the speed of the game, the physicality is a big difference from the high school to the college. The size, because you most time, it's depending on where you're at, you like Columbus, we may see somebody 6'7", 6'8" in basketball, but to see a 7-footer, like multiple, but this is when I knew he was different. He would come in, he wanted to guard Josh. Not, and I'm not talking about just so happened. No, I'm guarding you. Like you're not scoring. And then even on the offensive end, like you can see that determination. So it's one of those things where it's like he's gonna be one of those guys that, I mean, the landscape is different now. People transfer, but if he stays 4 years, he's gonna be one of those Mississippi State guys where you say he represented a bulldog mentality, like with the way, and so, I mean, those are things like you said, and I can only imagine some of the stuff you have been able to witness from your seat, and how gratifying that is to
it's
be able
so
to,
rewarding.
man, yeah, just, I can only imagine.
I think testing them is where the most growth and where they learn is like through the roof. Like if I laid out every single thing and told you every single thing you had to do from now until then, you're not really learning or growing. You're going through the motions. And I never want anyone to ever go through the motions because you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
Like I want you to get better, obviously, and I'm gonna guide you on the way. But I want you to learn. I want your capacity to grow because I think sports is a huge thing, not because we like football or volleyball or tennis, but the lessons you learn in those team sports translate to life.
Right.
It's not, and I hope all my athletes go professional if they want to go professional, but not every single athlete goes professional. So if I can help you in life, not just in the 4 years I know you, with a lesson that's going to help you with life and then the next generation with life and the next generation, and that's thinking really far, but like learning those lessons now when you're young translates to way better experiences later in life.
Right. Yeah. The testing word that you just making that point just made me think like you as a coach want the best for your players, and none of us are perfect, but I would hope like our kids know that too. Like we want the best for them. So I just think it's interesting saying like the test is where the growth is, because oftentimes in a spiritual sense, when we think about a test, like we don't really like sometimes like a test can feel like someone's out to get you, to show your weakness and mock you or whatever. But like from your seat, it reveals stuff, but then you're walking alongside to help them because your intent is for growth. It's not. So anyway, that was just something like I heard as you were.
Well, yeah. And I think we've heard it this way. The word coach comes from the word stagecoach. And back in the day, the significance of that stagecoach, that wagon being pulled, the stagecoach gets you to a place that you could not get to on your own. You can't do that in your own will. The stagecoach gets you there. In essence, that's what a coach is. The coach is there to push the individual to a point where they could not have willed themselves to get there. It's a guidance, it's a push, permission, test, and produces that in that person to get them to where they want to go. So,
yeah. So all of this part of the topic of preparation. And as we round out this episode, I did want Chase, just for, if you can just share a little bit about like, you might not have had a challenge or difficulty. I feel like I would have if I was in a position where you're having to wait for kind of like your time to step into what you really want to do. So maybe you didn't. Like, I don't want to make that assumption that you wrestled with that. But that's kind of just what we want to end this podcast talking about, is that in these seasons of preparation, talking about life lessons too, you have athletes that come in that were the best where they were, and now they're with the best. And so sometimes their playing time might be non-existent. They might have a role that they don't really want. They might go right into the role that they hoped for. I don't know. But just how those times of like hiddenness, I guess we'll call it, can be super hard, but also they're not wasted, because in those times, if we can keep our eyes focused on this is about preparing me for whatever comes and embrace that, then we can step in when we're ready. That's kind of what we wanted to talk about. And it might take a couple podcasts to like fully get through this topic, but if you want to share any more of your story and anything that you kind of navigated in that topic.
When I was originally graduating high school, and I talked about it a little earlier, of not knowing exactly what I wanted to do, I grew up, church I went to all the way from when I was born till when I graduated in Columbus, Mississippi, was First Baptist Church. And our pastor was Dr. Sean Parker. And I believe he's still in Jackson. He went down to Baptist headquarters. But I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Faith and religion has always been very important to me. And I had a conversation with him. And I was thinking about going the ministry route because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And I sat down with him, and I think one of the things he told me, and I don't remember the exact quote, I should, but it was something along the lines of, you don't have to go into a ministry to minister, basically.
Wow. Yep.
And so I tried, once he said that, I very much considered it, and I still don't know what I want to do, but I felt like there was a calling to minister, but it wasn't to ministry. Mm-hmm. And so I went to college, did all that. I switched majors 7 times, got to strength and conditioning. And I very much try my best to live through strength and conditioning, but minister through it. Basically just like planting a seed. And that doesn't always mean sitting out with every single athlete and talking straight from the word, but
right.
like the way I present myself, the way I like talk to athletes, small things like that, just add up over time. And genuineness is a huge thing. Yeah. I could be fake and it doesn't translate, but nowadays everyone sees through that. So just trying to be genuine and planting seeds here or there, not even just strictly religious, but small things that help people in life. Of my parents did a great job raising me, I feel like, of teaching me young, treat the janitor and the CEO the exact same way. Yeah. Everyone plays a part in the way you live your life and how you grow. And so there's always some type of way to treat everyone the exact same, because that's what God did for us. And so I try very much to live through strength and conditioning in that way of, I am a strength coach, but I'm trying to very much bridge that gap of living to minister through strength and conditioning.
Which I think is a huge shift. Like if we see life as a sequence of like sequentially one thing to the next, then I think we can get stuck in a rut of like, oh, I don't have what I want right now. I'm working towards what I want. But if we just see everything's purposeful, like every season, every job I have, every role I have is purposeful. It kind of all puts it on the same playing field to where it's not like you're working for that big moment, if you will. Right. It's like every moment is important.
Is important. And then I think too, like what you said, you don't have to be a ministry to minister. I think one of the things that I've learned is that a minister is a servant, and you're that's what you are doing. You're serving, and not just serving, like Bethany was saying. It's not a performance, but it's more so an expression of who you are, and I believe that how you show up, how you treat people, how you live, those are things that express what we believe in our relationship with God each and every day. Because I used to ask the question, like, which Justin and Bethany were great with me, working with the basketball team, giving me insiders. But I remember God used to kind of just tell me, it's how you show up. He's joy, so be joyful. He's peace, so bring peace. He's patient. Be patient, like those things that, and it took the pressure off of me of trying to quote unquote do, but just be, and I do know that you're doing a great job. And I believe and know that you'll continue to do a great job, especially with those things being at the core and the foundation of what you do. So I know Mississippi State is blessed to have you to be able to serve in that capacity with that understanding and with that, that conviction.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think it's neat too that you're in an environment though downstairs, from where we are, that people are going to be doing the same thing and encouraging you in that, and people that you're going to get to watch. Yeah. I mean, you've been around Marcy a while. Trey has just moved in. Trey's doing a tremendous job, and just knowing who he is. We'll get Trey on this one at some point too. But like, Madison, just everybody down there is ministering. in
sure.
the way that they're supposed to minister. And it's pretty awesome to watch. It's a great environment to go into, just from our standpoint of it being FCA staff and just going and watching and seeing you guys work and the joy in which you guys operate is really fun, really special.
And I was going to say this, like when he said that, I wanted to just take this point because I do think it's easy for us to take things and think is because it's somewhat normal to us that it's normal to everybody.
Yeah.
But for you to talk about how your heart posture is, especially in today's of athletics, okay, we know we got to keep things in perspective. We know the main thing is the main thing. You're here to do a job, but also to see you have a mindset that you take in that side of it and realize this is important too. The relational piece. It's not just I'm coming here to show up, clock in, do a job, but to have that heart posture in everything I do. I want it to be something that not only glorifies God, but get the greatest result. And I can marry the two. I don't have to feel like I got to be this way. Like that is a gratifying thing in sports today, from a coach standpoint. Everybody doesn't have that heart posture. Right. Every school may not have what we've been blessed to have. We got some great people here. I'm not just saying that as a homer, but like when you meet some of these people, it's like, man, this is not something that we can afford to take for granted.
Yeah, that's good. I have one final question for you. And so in the in-between, when you had decided you were going to do this and you got the opportunity to work in athletics, but before you got your own like head coach over these teams, in that in between, was there any significant lessons you feel like you learned in having to just be faithful and watch and experience things that you could encourage other athletes that are kind of in that season of like preparation, hiddenness, waiting?
Absolutely. When I graduated from undergrad in college, I was fully planning to go down to a small college that we had a previous strength and conditioning coach move there from Starful himself, and I was about to go be a GA down there, and it just so happened that Marcy got the opportunity to come over the Olympic side, and I had been working her with 2 years, which usually doesn't happen. Usually internships are 1-year process. COVID-19 kept me around for a second year.
Nice.
So I stuck around for a second year, and then she came over here. She's hiring her full staff because basically the entire staff, except Trey North, who was the soccer strength coach at the time, had left. And so she's trying to fill spots. And I guess I did a good enough job. She offered me the GA spot over here. And so that was a huge switch up for me because I was fully planning to go down to Florida.
Wow.
And then the exact same situation I get when I started my GA. It was supposed to be a 2-year GA. I'm a little impatient. I'll give everyone that. And I was ready to be done with school. So I took extra classes. Instead of 2 years, I graduated in a year and a half. And when I got the year and a half done, I'm applying and I'm just looking for different jobs and where I can go after this because I've finished my GA. And just so happened, the track and field strength coach leaves. And I apply for that. And then my career starts here as a full-time. In between those moments when I'm thinking I'm going to Florida or I'm spending 2 months looking for what's next for me because I have no idea. I mean, very stressful in my head. I've got a lot of hefty goals for myself. And so I get impatient sometimes of like thinking about, well, how do I expedite this? How do I get to those goals quicker? And then I look back on it like now and it's like, why were you worrying? Like you've already come this far. I don't know this for a fact, but like I was worrying that much. And then I became a full-time strength and conditioning coach at 22 years old. Yeah. Like, I don't know how many people can say that in the SEC that they were a full-time strength coach at 22. Man. So
I can't say that. I can't.
And then so I can sit back and look and I was worrying, but everything was taking care of itself. Right. Like I was still showing up and doing the same attitude, giving my full effort, and God just took care of the rest. So yeah, I think that.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I will say this. I think sometimes what we look at, and this is what I love about God, what we look at as a potential flaw, I don't believe sometimes that we don't understand that God wired us away. Like, you know, I know you kept saying you're a little impatient, but I looked at it like you were really intentional. You get what I mean? And sometimes because I'm really intentional, and that intentionality sometimes is not necessarily quote unquote me being impatient, but that's how God has wired me. And you think about it, all of that was causing you to do the extra work to position you that when those doors come open, it's like, I'm looking at, I'm being impatient, but no, if you don't do this in this time frame, because God works in seasons and time. So if you don't graduate in a year and a half, when this door come open for this track opportunity, you're not ready.
That's
like,
true.
So I'm saying, like, I was looking at that because I think, especially being in the youth pastor, being in ministry, y'all have 3 children. Everybody's not the same. And if you're not careful, you'll see things that are similar and you'll try to give the same message to each and every person. And it's like, no, everybody's on a different wavelength. I got married at 28, 27, but my parents got married when they was 19 and 20, but they were able to do it. It was a different, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have to judge my schedule. Sometimes the things that God placed in us, it's like it causes us to do certain things. And so I'm saying you were that's what I was taking as I'm listening, an intentional person. And when you're an intentional person, God is an intentional God. So he was allowing all of these different things to align themselves. I do think that every listener whether you're an athlete, whatever season, the stage you are, that you should trust God, though. Like, when you look back, he's been taking care of you and ordering your steps and moving. Just trust him. But also, it's a testament to, we have to do our part to making sure that we're preparing ourselves and doing, the foundational things. God doesn't need our help, but he does need our willingness and obedience.
Yeah, I think it boils down to, if we can boil it down to one little thought, is just faithfulness. Like, I think that we can become so distracted by what our goals are or whatever. I know I've been like this, to where you do end up just going through the motions of what's in front of you in the present.
Yeah.
Because you're like thinking so much about like wanting that or wanting to be there or whatever. But normally just being faithful with what's right in front of you arranges your steps to where you'll be there.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Just
And
show
it
up.
goes back to Justin's just show up. We just want to encourage people, especially athletes, in the preparation season that it is right now for most of the sports. Volleyball and soccer get started very quick. And football, I just saw there's like 50 days until the first game or something like that. Yeah, crazy.
50 days to the first game?
Yeah. So you have like, preparation seasons are different for everybody, but there's always some kind of work being prepared in our lives, whether it's as an athlete, for a certain job, relationship, whatever it may be. And so we hope that something, maybe we said, encouraged you in that season, and just to be reminded that faithfulness is really the thing, to engage with where your feet are planted and to trust God. Like,
and you will bear fruit in and out of season.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. Okay. That's good enough. I'm not going to try to wrap beyond that. So we always appreciate you listening and look forward to conversations next week. Thanks for listening to the Created to Be podcast. To learn more about Mississippi State FCA, visit www.msufca.org and follow us on Instagram at HailStateFCA_. And check out our new Instagram for podcast content at Created to Be Podcast. If you would like to become a financial partner, visit www.fca.org/donate to sow into the work God is doing through FCA at Mississippi State.